matter how conscientious they are, historians always have biases that affect their work. Hence, rather than trying to interpret historical events, historians should instead interpret what the people who participated in historical events thought about those events.
All right, can you explain this to us in your own words?
Yes. So even though historians try their darndest, they have opinions and other biases that get factored into their work. So, knowing that, rather than historians interpreting historical events, knowing they have these biases, they should instead interpret what they should instead go to the people who were participating and go get their information based off of what they're thinking.
All right, so what's our conclusion?
Historians should instead interpret what the people who participated in historical events thought about those events.
I think this is really funny. Okay, so
I thought so too. That's why I felt so confident, and then I got it wrong.
yeah, no. Okay, so part of it is like you could be predicting really good answers, but we could work on predicting it and then translating answer choices too.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm struggling with, is that I'm not able to translate the answers in a way that helps me, if my prediction is wrong, choose another answer that I think makes sense.
Right. And it's looking at when you predict your answer, it's not just about your prediction, it's about what hole is your prediction exposing, and just one of these answer choices expose the same hole just in a different way. Because what predictions did we have here for this question?
For this one, my prediction was, if you only interpret what people who were in the events were thinking, you're going to have either less information or potentially more biased information.
Sorry, my dog's scared because we just got here, so I'm just gonna move her to.
Oh.
There you go, baby.
So I just assumed, I was looking for something that essentially said that like both sides are biased, but people that are witnessing are going to have more bias than the historians potentially.
Right. So how do we know how, like, so because we're saying that because the historians are always biased, therefore we should not interview the historians. Let's just interview the people that participated instead. And couldn't the participants have the same exact problem? What answer choice did you say for this one, Katie?
I said A. Because my logic was, okay, even if historians have different biases, they're able to agree for the most part, which is like showing an overlap and like a common consensus. So I thought A established more credibility than a potential other bias.
So what do you think I don't like about A? What word?
Often?
No.
Many.
No.
Some.
Oh, many.
No, some. Just because they agree on things for one event doesn't mean anything.
Oh, okay.
But even if they did agree on some, it still doesn't have anything to do with the people who participated.
Correct. So, excellent. So let me finish the sum and then let's move on to Angelica, because she has a great point. So one is, okay, so this question says, what do we fail to consider? Do we fail to consider that historians who have different biases often agree on many aspects of the events? Maybe, yes. I don't like it because of the word some, because even if we do fail to consider that, is it a problem that we don't think about the fact that they might agree on one event? No, like one event. Okay, they agree on one event. I bet, like, I mean, even all politicians today, like, agree in like board versus education, right? Like, but they disagree on everything else.
I didn't love A either, but it was one of the ones where I was like, this is fine. And then I eliminated everything else. Then I came back to it.
Okay. So Angelica's point though is great, is where this does nothing to do with like, just because we fail to consider this, is that why we should just instead interview the participants?
No, because I guess I'm assuming that we're aware of the potential bias from them, but they haven't said it. So I'm just
Right. So
that we're factoring
you're
it.
going a
Okay.
step too far.
Okay.
Jasmine,
Cool. I think I just didn't understand E. Like I just don't think I like understood what it was even saying.
oh,
And
of
that
course. This is where it's like
That's how I feel too.
so blind
Yeah.
review. Two things to do in blind review is one, blind review, in addition to the ones that you miss in flag, blind review parallel reasoning or parallel flaw questions, especially even if you skip them, but go through the answer choices and think what the flaw is in your own words. So you get like, because like every parallel flaw question, that's like 5 practices at a flaw, where you just get to practice recognizing the flaw. And the other ones are either rule questions or these type of flaw questions. Go, even if you get the answer choice right, then go back in an untimed setting and translate all the answers, practice translating the answer choices. Because you start to recognize some of the wording that they use and you start to get better understanding of it. Because it sounds like that's more of an issue for you, Katie, than actually recognizing the flaws. It sounds like you can recognize the flaws. It's more you get intimidated by the answer choices a little bit.
God, I hope so. Because if it's both, then man, what a journey.
What a journey. No, it is. LSAT journey. The proposed shift is focus and okay. The proposed shift in focus is unlikely to eliminate the effect that historians' biases have on their work. So the proposed shift in focus. So what is the proposed shift in focus?
Focusing on what people who were participating were thinking.
Yes. Well, focusing on the participants instead of the historians.
Right.
So do we fail to consider that focusing on the participants instead of the historians is unlikely to eliminate the biased effect that the historians' biases have on their work? Absolutely. Do you see that?
I think what I'm stuck on is I don't think that
So what
acknowledging that but I don't think it changes the historian's bias. And I think that's why I eliminated it. And I was like, just because.
Not the historian biases, but what problem does the historian biases cause?
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Cause that, like, I think that is the flaw. But I think I read E, and I just was like, well, yeah, it.
Just the effect is just biases that affect their work. So it doesn't matter if it's historians or participants.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I thought you was trying to say that we're thinking if we do this. Okay.
It's not that they'll say the same exact thing. It's just like it'll just be biased in a different way.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense.
All right. Any